Good evening, one and all. Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the International Webinar Series on Holistic Health, Well-being and Sustainable Development 2022-2023, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 76 years of independence, India's G20 presidency, United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030 as part of awareness and campaigns in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for Arts, Sciences and Wellbeing. Before we start our sessions, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः.
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's sessions. With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's sessions. Today, we are commemorating International Credit Union Day. Which is observed on third Thursday of October every year. So this year it is falling on October 19th. International Credit Union Day is celebrated across the world and is an opportunity for credit unions and communities they serve to reflect upon the credit union movement, promote credit union achievements and share impact credit unions have on their members. Credit unions are full-service financial institutions that provide this same products and services and benefits offered by other financial institutions. Credit unions differ because they are not for profit. Financial cooperatives owned by and operated for the benefit of customers, members they serve. Credit unions serve their members, not investors. Credit unions are cooperatives or organized groups of people with some common bond. Examples of a common bond may be your employer, the community in which you live, a faith-based organization, a school, or the military, just to name a few. For example, Direct Federal Credit Union in Masharts offers membership to anyone who lives, works, or worships in Norfolk or Middlesex country in Masharts. That's over 2 crore people who can join Direct Federal to learn more about Direct Federal Credit Union in Needham. This year, the Direct Federal Credit Union, along with its 30,000 members, will be celebrating and recognizing its commitment to delivering great rates, saving its members money, providing easy accessibility to save time, and providing remarkable service to preserve peace of mind. You might be wondering how a credit union is different from a bank. Credit unions are interested in advancing their communities because they are owned by the people they serve daily. That's why they work so hard to improve their members' savings, help them invest in their homes, business, and education, and secure a stronger financial future. No matter what life brings, credit unions have been there to help strengthen and their financial lives of individuals, families, and business in their communities. In 1948, the US Credit Union National Association, CUNA, started a new National Credit Union Day celebration. The World Council of Credit Unions was created in 1971 to help others establish and maintain viable credit union movements in countries across the globe. International Credit Union Day has been observed on the third Thursday of October since 1948 and was created to celebrate credit unions and their meaning to their community. There are various benefits for choosing credit unions. As per survey results, a survey showing Mashart's residents' perspective on credit unions, common misconceptions and benefits. Top 2 factors for choosing a financial institution is low fees, that is 42%, and interest rates, that is 30%, 37% of respondents have opted as these 2 top factors. One factor for choosing a financial institution is low fees. So 42% has opted the top factor, number 1 factor as low fees, and 37% opted the top second factor as interest rates. So they say that my financial institution makes sure that I get best rates and lowest fees, says 38% more credit union customers than bank customers. So there are certain misconceptions about credit unions, about financial services at credit unions. 53% of the people don't know the difference between a credit union and a bank. The fact is, credit unions offer the same products and services as banks, but credit unions are more dedicated, committed to improve their communities, their members. Banks, they serve any person in the community within their jurisdiction or across the nation. So bank doesn't mean they have to invest or they have to provide loans or services to only the members in the locality. They also keep financing other banks or giving credits to other banks that may not always serve the local community or always be in the interest of local community. Because if it is a nationalized bank or if it is a statewide bank, then the policies, the interest rates and the offers or the benefits or the programs will be designed as per the national interest or as per the state interest on a larger way. But these credit unions, because they are run by the people, managed by the people, they come together and decide on a timely basis what new programs, what new policies, what new credit rates and interest rates, fees, all are divided by, are all decided by the credit union members. So that's why there is a greater benefit with credit unions, because they are managed by people themselves and they are towards their own interest. So that's why so the credit unions work for the benefit of their members, irrespective of what the nation is going through or what state is going through, state policy. Because as a state, it is a wider population that needs to be taken care of. So that may or might not be always in the interest of local community members. So that is one disadvantage, especially with where there is no flexibility. Of course, with some national and international banks, there is a flexibility, or a state level banks, there is a flexibility to choose certain packages, programs, or services, products or services to the community. But that flexibility is very limited. Very limited, we see, because they are governed by a lot of and the policy decision makers are always taken by the centralized offices. So very rarely we do have rarely we have such greater flexibility. So that's the reason these cooperative societies or credit unions or credit societies are more preferred than, and also banks, they have very rigid rules and formalities. But credit unions, say suppose if that locality has a credit union and people are, they wanted to, one of the member want to build a house, or say one of the member has to pay some hospital expenses, or one of the member has to pay for say something, has to perform a marriage, but he doesn't have adequate funds, and they require and they might require some finance. But here, when you go to bank, they have only same rules, and they do not bother about they just follow the rules, and if they are eligible, they will give. But in community or credit unions whose members are related to same business or same community or same domain, they come together, sit together, discuss together, and they extend services to them. So if everyone decides that, okay, that person can get some financial assistance to perform marriage or to construct home or to construct, or for any purpose, the credit can be granted. So that kind of flexibility, especially that kind of benefits are there in these credit societies. So that is greater advantage. So people generally, because they are working, all the members are very much related to each other, either by profession or either by, community, or either by region, or either by caste or creed. There are some commonality where all are related to each other and all are more or less dependent or on each other and working together for a common cause. So that's where the benefit lies, the additional benefits lies being with the credit union. And also high yield savings accounts, checking accounts, share certificates, that is certificate of deposits, ATMs, mobile app, person-to-person payment options, mortgages, home equity loans, auto loans are also provided by the credit unions, which are provided by the banks. Almost all the services are provided by the credit unions, which are provided by the banks. And there is another myth that 6 out of 10 people believe that banks and credit unions have the same fees and interest rates. But the fact is, credit unions have lower fees and better interest rates than banks. Because, banks get funds from various sources. But it is not that in case of credit unions, because they have very limited membership. And, unless and until members are given a better offer than others, they generally, they don't want to invest their amount in that. And especially one more reason is, they are working for their own betterment. So that is one more additional benefit, along with all other benefits, which are more personalized or customized for their benefit. So in that case, what happens? Generally, fees is less because it is managed by their own community. So they charge less fees, and interest rates are higher because, at the end of the day, they from their amount only, from their contribution only, they are, running the business and making profits. So generally, they give more interest on their deposits. And there are misconceptions about eligibility for credit unions. And 29% of the respondents mistakenly believe that credit unions are the only members of certain groups, such as place of worship, school, or labor union. See, not always. See, generally, mostly it will be like within the community, like some people come together, those who are, of same religion, same caste, same community, or, same school, same college, or same community, same locality, or same profession, or same occupation. Like that, they come together and queue most of the cases. But it may not be always in 100% of cases. In some, like banks are there, sometimes credit unions can also be having diversified members from different sectors, communities, occupations, like that. So it depends on the credit union. So when we look at the members of the credit union, we can know whether it is a closed community or an open community. Means in the sense, whether it belongs to one or more limited communities, or it is from members are from diverse community. And 22% believe that credit unions are only for specific employers. That is true, but not always. Because they also lend, they also provide services to others also who would like to become members, or at least they can be customers, if not members. See, members are different, customers are different. And some credit unions limit their services, products and services to members only. That is only true only where the services, products are only limited to their members. But generally, most of the time, it is not so. Other customers or other individuals or businesses in that locality or in that jurisdiction, if they are interested, they can also they can also utilize the products and services of that credit union. So in that case, this is not true. So most of the time, though the priority is serving the specific members or community of the credit union, but it also serves others, except it again depends on the policy of the credit union. So most of the time it's not true. Generally it caters to everyone, unless and until its policy says that it is only to its members. And 22% of it says it's cost money to join a credit union. So it is same, there are two ways. Even to join, even to open an account in a bank, it will cost you some deposit, right? Minimum deposit you have to pay. Similarly, in a credit union, if you want to become a member, even there are equity, because members are always, a kind of equity members. See, always when I'm talking, when I'm, presenting, there is always an exception. It doesn't mean that 100% is always there. When we are talking always in with certain exceptions, like most of them in general, because they are funded by the people, by the community, and they are working towards the welfare and betterment of that community. So most of the funds also come from them only. So they, as a member, they not only contribute to the credit union in various ways, but also in terms of capital and investment. So in that sense, some people may think, they also need to invest in the credit union or, contribute some share. But it is not always so. You can also join a credit union by having a minimum share. So generally, it's not always, you can join credit unions by paying as many, say, even in Indian context, though this is being discussed in US context, but even in India also we have credit unions, even in US also, there is a minimum membership. Like there are some units where to the extent of available units, you can purchase. A minimum have to purchase, a member willing to join has to purchase a minimum unit. Say one unit is $500 or 500 rupees. If you that is also, even if you go to any bank, you have to, unless and until it is zero frills account or zero balance account. And again, that features are very limited. You don't get a checkbook and you don't get other services with that. There are very limited services with zero savings account or zero deposit account or no frills account. Similarly, but in other cases, even the savings account or the credit account or whatever account you are taking, you need to pay some charges, and accordingly, you need to deposit something in your bank so that you can open an account. See, here also similar way, for using products and services, you can do, and also you can pay some little amount, and that will be refunded to you, because that is an investment to join. And whenever you are leaving, you will get that amount, and also you will be paid whenever they make, like in the form of dividends or debentures. It depends again on the type. Generally, dividends are paid on the profits whenever they, on a yearly basis or half yearly basis, depending on the policy of that. So they also pay dividends, that is, profits are shared among the members depending on their number of units or the percentage of share they have in the credit union. So that is also one misconception, that you need to pay, it costs huge money to join a credit union. And 18% of them believe that they are not eligible to use a credit union because they think, this credit union, most of them are, that community or that profession. So I may not be eligible to do, but it's not so. You can always approach a credit union which is near to you or which is accessible, affordable to you, and you can check with them. Unless and until it is a closed credit union, where I mentioned earlier that it is only limited to its members, that is in the mostly rare cases that happen. Only in such cases, you may not be eligible, but mostly generally for using products and services like banking services or credit services, generally these are open to, in general, for everyone, to the eligible citizens or, eligible customers. So you can check with your credit unions accordingly. And also there are various benefits of credit unions, like credit unions are not for profit. Banks are, they have to maintain minimum thing. And many times we see, banks are also doing a lot of write-offs. Most of them are not by poor people, because of poor people or because of middle class people. It's because of, huge industrialists or investors who cheat, who, take away or run away with huge amounts of money from the banks. Because of that, banks completely go bankrupt, or most significant bankrupts happen, bankruptcy happens by large investors or large creditors. Investors, they are investing. That is good for banks. But large creditors, when they become defaulters, there is a huge burden on the bank. And because of that, only most of the banks, cannot survive. And it's a huge burden and government has to intervene. And there are a lot of write-offs. But when we see in the history, at any point of time, it was never the poor people or the low income or middle income people. In spite of how much they default also, it is always less only. These huge sharks are what we call, they are the ones who, these large creditors are the ones who destroy the banks and, who make them bankrupt, So credit unions are not for profit, and all profits are returned back to its members. As I mentioned, bank is different, but credit unions, because it is run by members only, most of the time members are contributing, and whatever the profits they make are returned back to the members. And in different forms, like one form is in the form of dividend, and one form is in the form of lower fees, like member, because they are investing and they have to pay lower fees for services, and better interest rates. Because they are investing, they will get more interest. And apart from that, they are also getting profits. Whatever the credit union is making is divided equally based on the shares, based on the equity of their investments in the credit union. So these are the benefits of credit unions. But in banks, that is not the case. There are differences. And credit unions typically offer lower interest rates on loans than banks do, including mortgages, auto loans, home equity loans, and etc. So this is another benefit where banks have very fixed, things. But here, the banks offer lowest interest rates. And also credit unions typically offer higher interest rates on savings account than banks do. And they not only offer lower interest rates on loans and credits, but they offer higher interest rates on savings and deposits than banks. So that is also one more benefit. And credit unions are community-based providers who prioritize their members' financial well-being over profits. Banks are more generalized, but here credit unions are more specialized. And their priority is community upliftment, community development, community betterment, and community financial well-being. That is their priority. So they always work towards that. So financial being and well-being and social responsibility is the priority for their credit unions. And 67% of respondents said that the goal of a credit union is financial well-being of its customers. And 50% of the respondents say that credit unions serve financially vulnerable populations because than banks do, because banks have a lot of rules and regulations. Unless and until you meet everything and criteria and, and there should be someone you should be introduced to, and all these things are there generally. So not everyone is able to get services from bank. So what they do, they go to private financiers. But again, there is a huge risk of unsecured and high interest rates and all. But these credit unions are very good alternative for bank, which supplement, the banking services to the vulnerable or those who are not able to immediately access or those who are not eligible in the banks due to various reasons. And twice as many respondents said that my credit union prioritizes my financial well-being over profits than their banks do. And 30% of the respondents said that credit unions provide better financial education than banks do, because it is the interest of the members. So they always conduct various awareness programs and educate members of the different programs, policies, and services, and how they benefit, because at the end of the day, they are the ones who are going to utilize them. So they focus more on not even just business, but also on creating awareness and providing education. So credit union usage across the nation, 32% of them responded of the people with checking accounts, 31% of the people using online banking, that 27% of ATM users, and 23% of people with auto loans use a credit union. So when this study was conducted in Mashards, so focusing on Mashards residents, 69% said know somebody who uses a credit union, and 27% know somebody who uses direct federal credit union. 62% of credit union customers say that they are satisfied with their credit union. 52% of the respondents say that credit unions provide better customer service than their banks. And 36% prefer to use a credit union over a bank for an auto loan. 32% currently use a credit loan for online banking. So the future of credit unions, the percentage of people who say they will likely use a credit union for the following services in next 5 years, 50% of them prefer for savings account. They are likely to use credit union for savings account, and 49% for auto loan, 39% for mortgage, and 39% for certificate of deposit in the next 5 years. So International Credit Union Day, in short known as ICU Day, has been celebrated and founded by the World Council of Credit Unions and Credit Union National Association, CUNA. CUNA is recognized as the most influential financial service trade association and one of the Washington's top 10 most respected associations. The day was created to raise awareness about the tremendous work credit unions and other financial cooperatives do worldwide. So local credit unions like the Direct Federal Credit Union in Massachusetts are member-owned financial institutions directly contributing to your community, where you live, where you work, and where you worship. So they have an interest in investing in local communities because people in those communities own them. This community investment comes in the form of philanthropy, volunteerism, financial education, funding, small business supporters, and many more. Additionally, when you bank with a credit union, your money is invested in community through loans and services. Credit unions have thousands of local members that take advantage of their low rate, affordable real estate loans and have invested in the local economy and communities they serve. Trade unions want to improve their member savings, help them invest in their homes, business and education, and secure a solid financial future. On International Credit Union Day, we celebrate that. So why do you need to become a member of credit union? What does that mean? So each credit union offers membership to a specific group of people that varies by credit union membership. And membership is typically done by opening a savings account at the credit union. After you have a savings account, you can open additional accounts or apply for a loan. For instance, Direct Federal Credit Union in Needham, Massachusetts allows anyone who lives, works, or worships in Norfolk or Middlesex country in Massachusetts, that's over 20 lakh people who can join the credit union, and you can automatically become a member by applying for a loan or opening an account. To learn more about Direct Federal Credit Union, you can visit their website, direct.com, and reach out to local credit unions to find that is right for you. Then why would someone bank with a local credit union versus a large national bank? You might have that. So banks and credit unions are similar in many ways. Both accept deposits, offer loans, are secure places to keep your money, but there are also major differences between the two as we discussed. Credit unions are focused on their members, not shareholders. Credit unions have a vested interest in their strengthening the communities because they are in those communities and are focused on helping their members meet their financial potential. As a credit union, like Direct Federal Credit Union in Massachusetts, you can get more personalized service than you may receive at a bank because credit unions are not for profit and serve their members. Profits are shared with members through higher yields on deposit accounts, fewer and lower fees, lower loan interest rates, and personalized lending flexibility. Almost 90% of the federal members strongly agree they received remarkable service from the credit union. And 94% strongly agree they received a great rate from the credit union. So credit unions care about the community they are in and people they serve. So that's why the more preference to credit union than banks. So let's take Direct Federal Credit Union in Massachusetts as an example. So what do credit unions provide that a larger national financial institution or banks doesn't provide? So Direct Federal Credit Union has a long history of offering a remarkable member experience and service, coupled with technology and capability to bank with them whenever, wherever, and however you want. While they are local credit union ingrained in its community, its core operating model is designed to serve its members wherever, whenever, and however they want. Their unique business model where everything they serve from only happens, only having the expenses of one branch, allowing them to offer lower rates than other financial institutions because they all operate from one central place, one branch. And with the bonus of having technology to support their members, no matter how they bank with them, like all the banks provide, they are providing ATM card, internet banking, mobile banking, because it's almost the technology is available to everyone. So you get all the benefits. And Direct Federal Credit Union chooses not to spend money on network of branches. Generally, other banks, they need to spend on a lot of network of branches, transport, ad hocs, additionals, and all lot of things are there. And they believe that having one branch doesn't mean they are hard to bank with. It means they are easy and smart to bank with. And moreover, Direct Federal Credit Union chooses not to spend money on network of branches. So they believe that having one branch doesn't mean they are hard to bank, and it means they are easy and smart to bank with. So you visit one branch and you get all the services there. And credit unions. So there is also one more query in general. Are credit unions less advanced than larger national financial institutions? No, because all the facilities are available. Yeah, they may be limited to the scope or jurisdiction because they are more prioritized on local communities, but it may not be always true. They are not so limited. So many credit unions offers advanced online banking and mobile app capabilities that are similar to, or in some cases better than the technology and digital banking capabilities of a larger national financial institutions. Because, there are more customers and there are always, we also personally face either there's some technical problem, website problem, or crowded banks, or we see server errors and a lot of things because huge number of people are there and they have to serve and there are limited services. So that's why we face a lot of here that there is a very limited membership, limited ones. So whatever the services are available are much better, much more than required. So definitely, you will find better services here. And Direct Federal Credit Union, for example, scores in the top 5 credit unions and banks in the state for a number of digital offerings. They have put their technology and systems in place to allow their members to bank with them and wherever and whenever they want. See, it's not like we are recommending or we are promoting the credit unions. We are just trying to explain, the difference between both. We are not recommending any either, but as a community, as a social worker or as a community worker or as a community development professional, I prefer more. Banks also do, but banks have a lot of limitations. Practically, we have seen, but these credit, in fact, here the larger terminology are like cooperative societies, like, handloom cooperative societies, self-help groups, like similar, we have different terminology. We also have credit unions kind of thing. But here, they always work together for development of their communities. But banks, their interest is not always because they have their own limitations, restrictions. So they are always not in their rescue, practically. And so research your local credit union options. Take a look at your current interest rates or loans and what you are earning in your savings accounts. Think about customer service you are receiving from your financial institution. If you are unhappy with what you see, research what your local credit union can do for you. Or if you are happy, continue that happily. So celebrate International Credit Union Day by joining a credit union. In doing so, you'll become a part of the community that works towards helping people like you realize their dreams in the best possible way. If you are based in Mashards, head over to direct.com to learn more. So visit your local credit union's website to check their resources on financial education. You can find, especially if we are taking the same examples of, direct credit union, you can visit Direct Life portal at Direct Federal Credit Union in Mashards and take online classes about financial education topics. Credit unions work hard to make positive difference in their communities. They serve by integrating our community engagement efforts into everyday business and leveraging our strengths and resources to make greatest impact. Direct Federal Credit Union is able to provide financial support to 501c3 organizations in the 82 cities and towns located in Norfolk and Middlesex country. Their philanthropic support includes monetary donations, event sponsorships, and scholarships in schools, local schools. They also recognize that sometimes financial support is just not enough. So they volunteer in their neighborhoods for local organizations. In addition, they use financial education to connect with our community and teach valuable skills that promote financial capability in 82 cities and towns they serve. So visit your local credit union's website to learn more about what organizations they support and connect with the organization to see how you can help. Today, we are also commemorating World Humanitarian Day, which is commemorated on October 19th. Every year, the day is reserved to show special appreciation and respect to the martyrs of humanitarian causes. The observation calls for the mass global display of public support for humanitarian action. When the governing bodies fail, the non-profits and humanitarian organizations step up. But serving humanity by being on the front lines have severe consequences that can often turn fatal. World Humanitarian Action Day honors the ones who died while serving others. People from around the world are encouraged to join humanitarian organizations such as UNICEF, Red Cross, and others, and become active messengers of the humanity. So World Humanitarian Day recognizes the frontline workers who face adversity and danger to help others in need. Some of these themes of the past years have been Charter for Compassion and Eradicating Extreme Hunger. World Humanitarian Action Day is an opportunity to celebrate the spirit of global humanitarian initiatives and the work of humanitarian forces around the globe. Although the appeal for the human world remains at the top of the agencies, the day primarily honors the volunteers, workers, and support staff who have sacrificed their lives to the cause. The definition of humanitarian action is to maintain human dignity, elevate suffering, and save lives without any regard for race, gender, ethnicity, political affiliation, or religion. The oath of humanitarian action serves the most vulnerable people who need external support to return to their normal lives after surviving the destructive impact on complex emergencies, natural disasters, or war. World Humanitarian Action Day is followed by World Humanitarian Day and other United Nations affiliated holidays to keep up with the global sense of momentum charted by the members of the group called the Messengers of Humanity. The day calls for some social media action with members sharing the successes and failures of global humanitarian aid to amplify their common message. Humanitarians around the world deserve our praise and support for saving millions of lives and selflessly serving billions of people. The day also examines the boundaries of humanitarianism and agrees that while humanitarian aid will always be available, it is preferable to work towards a better, more human society in which the need for it does not exist. So the incorporation of UNGA, that is UN General Assembly first session, convenes in London with 51 representative nations in 1946. World Humanitarian Day is commemorated on August 19th. It's dedicated as World Humanitarian Day to honor the martyrs of 2007 bombing at the Baghdad UN headquarters in 2009. So worldwide campaign, the UN launches the People Helping People campaign to inspire people to contribute to the humanitarian aid work in 2011. The UN launches the World Needs More project to invite private companies and philanthropists to sponsor the world action and collaborate in humanitarian aid in 2013. So what should one do to become a humanitarian? Humanitarian organizations are run by volunteers and there is no official study or career or degree required to become one. For those interested in pursuing administration, managerial work in the field, a bachelor's degree in nursing, sociology, social work, political science, economics, and international relations is recommended. The 4 humanitarian principles are humanity, impartiality, neutrality, and interdependence. A humanitarian elevates human suffering and engages in promoting social reforms, general welfare, and rehabilitation programs without any regard for the gender, political affiliation, and religion of the victims. So sign up for humanitarian aid, go to charity, aid organization, a shelter of your choice and sign up for volunteer hours. Honor the fallen by continuing their work. Several leading global and local organizations are always looking for volunteers to expand their network. You don't need a fancy degree to qualify, only a kind heart and a generous mind. There are numerous difficulties in our neighborhood that go unnoticed. You don't have to be an active war zone to become a humanitarian. You can start from your home, and the best way to find out what's wrong is by engaging with your community. Several underfunded humanitarian aid organizations rely on small donor donations to keep up with the work. Food, shelter, clean clothes, money, and medical supplies are all required on the front lines. Honor the day of action by becoming a regular patron of a humanitarian case. So the leading humanitarian aid organizations in the world are UNICEF, which is the largest children's and aid organization in the world with a focus on medicine, food, shelter for children. International Rescue Committee, the IRC, is the leading security and rehabilitation organizations for vulnerable refugees escaping disaster for nearly 80 years. Red Cross, the Red Cross responds to natural disasters around the world and caters to its victims. World Food Program, it has provided food aid to nearly 115 million people in 80 plus countries. World Health Organization, WHO aids people in necessities of life such as water, food, and clean air, and creates better conditions for long-term improvements of communities. So World Humanitarian Action Day puts into perspective the dangers of traversing through the natural disasters and inhuman conditions to help the people in need. It's not a job to be faint-hearted and deserves the honor of observation. It honors the heroes. According to the UN, more than 125 million people require humanitarian aid in a single year. There just aren't enough hands to deal with the relentless onslaught of man-made and natural disasters. World Humanitarian Action Day encourages individuals to get off the sidelines and get involved to leave the world a better place than we found it. So World Humanitarian Action Day is observed in coordination with World Humanitarian Day to create awareness about the humanitarian risks and the specific needs of the organization. The global campaign kicks off a volunteer recruitment and donation drive from all the corners of the world. Today is also commemorated as World Pediatric Bone and Joint Day in US. According to American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons, more than 126 million Americans are impacted by the musculoskeletal conditions. Many cases are brought on by obesity development during childhood. World Pediatric Bone and Joint Day highlights obesity, screening, and prevention. The day also looks at the symptoms, treatment, and economic impact. Every third Wednesday of every third Thursday. Wait. No, this is fixed on October 19th. So no need to worry about the day. So while the first Pediatric Bone and Joint Day, or in short known as PB and J Day, wasn't celebrated until 2012. Orthopedic medicine has far longer roots, originated from the term orthopedic, referred specifically to the correction of musculoskeletal deformities in children. Nicolas Andres, who was a professor of medicine at the University of Paris, coined the term in textbook published in 1741. So this book, which was directed towards parents, advocated for exercise, manipulation, and splinting to treat chain bone deformities. 40 years later, in 1780, Jean-André Venel opened the first orthopedic institute, which was dedicated to treating children's skeletal deformities. So the modern hip replacement was introduced in the 1960s by English tribiologist Sir Johnson Chanley, who made the connection that implants can be used to replace joint surfaces. He designed as a one-piece stainless steel formal stem and head and an acetabular component, both of them which used to fix the bone along with bone cement. The Chanley low-friction anthroplasty and designs that evolved from it were used for over 2 decades for hip replacement procedures. In the 1970s, knee replacements using similar technology commenced for patients with rheumatoid arthritis. So USSR doctor Gabriel Abramovich Elizarov made a major contribution to orthopedic procedures. Without much training in the specialized field, sent to look after Russian soldiers in 1950, Siberia, he came face to face with creeping conditions, infections, and bone malalignments. Employing the assistance of a nearby bicycle shop, he invented external ring fixators similar to the spokes of a bike. With this, he was able to heal, realign, and lengthen to an unprecedented degree. The Lizard apparatus is still used by surgeons to this day. So Robert Osgood and Carl Schratter concurrently described the diseases, which now bears both of their names. The disease is common cause of knee pain in adolescents, Osgood-Schratter disease in 1903. The first Pediatric Bone and Joint Day, which was focused on vitamin D deficiency, was celebrated in 2012. The report from the United States Bone and Joint Initiative estimated 126.6 million Americans are impacted by the musculoskeletal conditions. A new US report highlighted the problem in 2016. The global burden of disease listed musculoskeletal conditions as the second highest contributor to global disability behind low back pain in 2016. So what causes infection in kids? Bone infection is normally caused by inflammation in the bone from bacteria. The bacteria that causes infection in children is Staphylococcus, which is carried through the blood. How do you become a pediatric orthopedic surgeon? To become an orthopedic surgeon, you must first get your bachelor's degree in biology, pre-med, or a related field, or medicine. Then you must complete an additional 4 years of medical school before dedicating 4 or 5 years to the orthopedic residency in a hospital. So what is a bone doctor called? The doctor that specializes in connecting bone or muscle deformities is called an orthopedic. The root word ortho is from Greek origins, meaning straight or upright. So don't feel like you need to give them advice, but at least offer some resources that are available. Sometimes you just knowing someone in their corner can be just catalyst. They need to seek treatment. So reach out to people. The Bone and Joint Initiative has, a material. So you can print out or you can prepare and spread them around your school's children, neighborhood store or community center. The 2 kinds of posters or, which is also available on the official commemoration website, explains the basics of bone and joint health in both English and Spanish. And you can prepare in your own language. There are all kinds of online resources for families dealing with pediatric bone and joint problems. So help get those resources to the people that need them. So to protect your bones and joints, exercise if you are able. Staying active and stretching will help your bones, joints stay strong and loose. Eat a healthy diet, fresh fruits and vegetables, protein and other nutritious vitamins is essential to creating strong bones and joints. Watch your weight. Keeping your weight off puts less pressure on your bones and joints, which is in turn keeps them healthy. Know your limits. Overcoming it can be costly, but make sure you are staying aware, staying aware of your body and addressing any aches and pains. So we have too much to learn, or at least much to learn. Children around the world experience bone and joint problems. This day strives to help those with or without them learn about the causes and symptoms, treatments. It pushes prevention. Childhood obesity is a big contributor to the bone and joint problems, both as a child and later in life. Understanding the long-term consequences and learning techniques to lose weight contribute to the presenting problem in the first place. It highlights other issues. Childhood obesity also causes many other health problems like diabetes and heart disease. Understanding one of the repercussions of obesity like bone and joint problems can help clarify the larger problem. Today is also commemorated as Spirit Day, an annual observance that takes place on the third Thursday in October, on October 19th this year. This day aims to create awareness for the bullying and harassment that the LGBTQ community faces. Millions of people working worldwide identify as queer, and many more are yet to be publicly declared their status. Such a large community of people shouldn't be alienated or marginalized because of their sexual orientation. But the reality, sadly, is that they are all over the world. LGBTQ youth suffer harassment because of their identity. There is a need for transgender individuals to have more protected rights. So one day in September 2010, Canadian teenager Brittany Macklin was browsing through the Tumblr when she came across was unfortunate and devastating, she stumbled upon a rash of widely publicized bully-related suicides of gay teenagers. Overwhelmed by the news, she felt persuaded to do something to spread awareness about the loss of these school students. She also wanted to support people going through similar problems. After learning about the Canada's anti-bullying Pink Shirt Day, she took inspiration from that and decided to make a tumbler asking students to wear a purple in support of LGBTQ youths. She chose purple because the color represents spirits on the pride flag. Her hard work and determination resulted in the very first Spirit Day celebration on October 20, 2010. Her past broke the internet and drew the attention of GLAAD, an American non-governmental media monitoring organization founded as a protest against defamatory coverage of LGBTQ. Over the years, it has grown in popularity and visibility. It now seems millions of participants, including schools, business, sport teams, celebrities, and media outlets. Spirit Day observes also wear the color purple to show their support for the LGBTQ youth and honor community suicide victims. Supporters also celebrate by changing their profile pictures and extensively using the hashtag Spirit Day and Choose Kindness in their posts. Today, we are also commemorating National Get Smart About Credit Day, which is annually celebrated every third Thursday in October, falling on October 19th this year. This is part of the Get Smart About Credit program where bankers volunteers to help them guide through the youth towards better credit habits. So learning about how to build credit, maintaining good credit, reducing loan costs, how loans affect your credit score, and monitoring changes to your credit score is important. Being financially responsible is an important life skill to have, and it is never too early to start. So the Get Smart About Credit program was launched by American Bankers Association Foundation back in 2003. This aimed to start the young and promote not only positive credit habits, but also positive financial management habits overall. This program focuses on high school students and young adults in order to help them get their finances in check as they first began to earn and handle their own money. So GSAC program is free of cost and it is run by bankers who volunteers their time and services to educate the youth. All volunteers are provided with free resources to efficiently generate awareness about various topics covering personal financial skills such as banking, careers, budgeting, credit scores, identity theft, and paying for the college, etc. So, every third Thursday in October has been dedicated to the education of youth about the do's and don'ts of financial management and to equip with them the techniques they will need in the long run Today is also commemorated as LGBT Center Awareness Day in US to celebrate the assistance and facilities provided by the LGBTQ community centers throughout the country. The Awareness Day, inaugurated by Centrelink in 1994, is an initiative to support the development of queer-friendly community centers. The centers are essential in LGBTQ community because they provide freely accessible community services to members. These services include mental health, counseling, cultural and educational programs, recreational activities, libraries, support groups, etc. The day was conceived today is also commemorated as International Shakeout Day to educate the public about the importance of taking immediate action in case of an earthquake. This day, which falls on third Thursday in October, remains our best opportunity to learn and practice how to protect ourselves and put our loved ones out of harm's way. If you live on earthquake-prone area, then you know how scary it can be when a tremor comes out of nowhere. And the first ever shakeout drill took place in California on November 13, 2008, then known as the Great Southern California Shakeout, in efforts to educate the highly seismic state in earthquake safety. More than 5 million people took part in the drill, with more joining cause internationally and earthquake-prone countries. In 2016, more than 55 million people across the United States and more than 60 other countries participated in the Great Shakeout earthquake drills. Today is also commemorated as Evaluate Your Life Day. It's time to reflect on your lives with the aim of becoming better versions of ourselves. It gives us the opportunity to check with ourselves assets where we are still on the right track. Evaluate Your Life Day was created by Thomas and Ruth Roy, founders of Wellcat Holidays, which specializes in creating quickie and fun holidays for celebrating life. So far, they have created about 80 existing holidays, including For the Love of Mike Day, A Room of One's Own Day. So Evaluate Your Life is all about self-evaluation and self-assessment, which involves assessing yourself in so it is all about self-evaluation and other self-assessment, which involves assessing yourself in terms of what goals you have achieved, This assessment is carried out with the aim of becoming better and not for the purpose of self-judgment or criticism. In 1988, the self-evaluation maintenance SEM model was formulated by Abraham Tesser, a distinguished professor of research at the University of Georgia. The theory posits that two people who are in relationship boost their psychological contentment by carrying out comparisons to each other. Their theory assumes that two standpoints The theory assumes two standpoints. One, that person will attempt to boost or enhance their own self-evaluation. And the two, that the self-evaluation is influenced by one's relationship with others. The theory also advances that a person's self-evaluation may increase when a person close to him or her has a positive experience. This balance goes both ways, vice versa, and is referred to as reflection or comparison. In reflection, the closer the relationship, the greater the success. However, in comparison, the success of a close or other decreases the person self-evaluation as a result of negative comparison. So, evaluate your life day is important even when faced with unpleasant aspects of life, and maintain a positive look. Evaluate your life through a lens of kindness and not judgment. Can self-evaluation be negative? Yes, this may come in the form of negative thoughts and beliefs about oneself. So when should one perform self-evaluation? There is no fixed time to perform self-evaluation. It should be done based on individuals' needs and progress in life whenever you would like to. So is it wrong to compare oneself to others? Comparing oneself to others may endanger feelings of discontent. It is important to admire others without putting ourselves down or them down. Today is commemorated as Conflict Resolution Day. Conflict tends to rise in many areas of our lives, such as workplaces, relationships, families. It is an unavoidable process of life. What is important, however, is how to resolve it. Conflict resolution does not have to be nasty. It can be resolved through peaceful methods. In any relationships, disagreement is unavoidable, and possessing the ability to peacefully resolve it when it arises becomes necessary. Conflicts arise because humans have needs, and in a bid to satisfy their individual needs and interests, disputes occur because of clashes of interest. These conflicts can be so these conflicts. It is in consideration of the above that the Association for Conflict Resolution, ACR, established in 2005, what we know as Conflict Resolution Day. Conflict Resolution Day, which has now been celebrated over 15 years, coincides with the ABA Meditation Week or the American Bar Association. The week was created to build efforts to many other individuals. Finally, today we are commemorating National New Friends Day. It's all about making new room for new connections in your life and celebrating potential for friendship everywhere you go. Research has found time and time again that strong social support is key to living your happiest, most fulfilled life. So get out there and add some or some new friends to the docket. So that's all for the day. Thank you everyone for joining us. So we'll be sharing the feedback form. We request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form. See you all tomorrow at the same time. Take care. Take care. Good night. Happy Navratri to all. The overall feedback, the international webinar series overall feedback form has been shared in the form of polls. We request everyone before leaving to quickly fill up the feedback. Thank you once again.